Okay, so we can see that we now have our motion blur on this text layer, and if we go back to the beginning of the timeline, we can play it back and see that it's kind of stopping there, and then we can add our easy ease to give it even more fluid motion as it's coming into the screen. So there's one other thing that I wanted to talk with you about to show how you can have even more dynamics and adjust the rate of speed at which your layers come into play. So that's called the graph editor right here. And so what I want to do is I want to enable that by clicking on it. And I'm going to click where it says choose graph type and options, and I'm going to edit speed graph. Yours will probably be on the value graph, but we're not going to be messing with that one. So what I want to do is go back to my motion blur layer, highlight. Let's actually move that back and highlight these, and then go back into the speed graph. So then we can use this lasso to select these two squares, and we get these two handles. So what does this allow us to do? Well, what this shows is that easy ease is bringing the text layer in at a rate of from 0 to 5,000 pixels per second. Once it gets up to that high, it slows back down and goes back to 0. If we had a linear motion, it would just be one straight line for the speed. So we can even take this one step further and change how fast it comes in or how it stops. And if I move this over, what I'm telling this to do is I want it to go faster to 10,000 pixels per second versus the 5,000, and then slow back down at the end. So let's see what this does to the animation. So you can see how it comes in and then kind of more abruptly stops. But if we even change this further, this would be more of an abrupt stop at the end. So we see as it's just kind of slamming into there. So what we can change now is if we come down here and highlight these, we can move this up even to change the abruptness to say it goes from 11,000 down to only from 7,000. So if we play this back, we can see that it makes just a minor change, but it will change things. So we can bring this down, and if we wanted to go the other way, we could bring this in and bring this back to show that it's going to slow into the end of the motion. So let's see what that looks like. So you can see how it kind of slows in to the end. So this is the graph editor, and there's many other tools in here, but we focused on the speed graph. And just remember that you'll need to have your easy ease on your keyframes if you want to continue to use this graph editor. Once you get this set, you can click this icon to go back to your keyframes, and then you can see the difference right there at the end.